Hello everyone, I'm Kiran Maruthi and I'm a product manager with the Azure Business Continuity and Disaster Recovery team. In this video, I'll walk you through various cost optimization levers available to save costs in your Azure backup journey. We know cost optimization in cloud and specifically BCDR is top of mind for you and multiple other customers. We have an exciting set of cost optimization levers for you without compromising on the data protection quality and also offering you flexibility. Before we move forward, I'd like to show you a familiar overview of Azure Backup. Azure Backup supports a variety of on-premises as well as Azure workloads, and we continue to expand the support regularly. Backup data from these different data sources are moved securely to a data plane, which we call the backup storage, an auto-scaling reliable set of storage accounts managed by Azure Backup and isolated from customer tenants to provide additional security. Backup data can be stored in multiple tiers, starting with snapshots, which are stored in your own accounts, a Vault Standard tier to store all of your backup data, and the recently added Archive tier to store your long-term retention, which is LTR data. You can choose the availability levels for your backup data in Vault from LRS, locally redundant storage, ZRS, zone redundant storage, or GRS, geo-redundant storage. Finally, of course, we have the management layer, which allows you to configure, access, and manage backups at scale across your entire data protection estates, across vaults, subscriptions, and even directories. Now, let's take a look at how Azure Backup pricing works. Azure Backup pricing has two components, the protected instance price and the backup storage price. Let's look at these components more closely. Protected instance price is like the management fee to enable and manage discovery, configuration, protection, policy, and movement of data in a secure manner and more. Definition of an instance varies across workloads, and further details can be found on the pricing page. Protected instances are applicable to most workloads where we move your data into your vaults. In some cases, like Azure Files, we have only snapshot management. Hence, we have a flat fee. For newer workloads like blobs and disks, we discover and configure and manage operational tier backups for free. You only pay for snapshots that are taken as part of the backups. Now, coming to the backup storage fee, it is the simple pay-as-you-go component for the per GB per month data backed up. Backup storage has two tiers, Vault Standard tier and Vault Archive tier. In the Vault Standard tier, you can choose between multiple redundancies. Default for a Vault is GRS, geo-redundant storage. In case cross-region restore is enabled, the redundancy is updated to read access GRS, which is RAGRS. An important thing to understand about backup pricing is there are no transaction costs, no geo replication costs, no restore charges, and no egress charges. We have ensured that the customers have simple pricing for Azure Backup. Vault Archive tier will save you cost for your long-term retention LTR data, which we'll see in further slides. Planning is the first step, which will help you estimate your backup storage footprint, and later we can use multiple cost optimization levers based on that to save costs. Here is a complete picture of capabilities and best practices that can help you optimize your BCDR costs. Starting from budgeting for backup costs and gaining granular cost insights through backup reports, to using specific options like reserved capacity pricing and smart tiering to Vault Archive tier, and to tuning the storage redundancy and policy configurations. There are multiple ways that we will deep dive into in the next few minutes. Before you even start using Azure Backup for budgeting your backup costs, you should always start with the Azure Backup pricing calculator on our website. And if you have a need to get customized, elaborate BCDR cost estimate for a longer duration in your planning, you should download our detailed pricing estimator from the link shown in the slide. This is a comprehensive tool to help you estimate your backup storage needs in the long run. It also provides you trends to help you understand how your backup storage footprint could grow depending on the amount of data that churns in your environment, the policy used to backup, and multiple other options. You can customize more than 15 variables to help you estimate as accurately as possible. We also keep this tool updated as and when we introduce new features, so you can always get the latest and greatest in terms of cost saving opportunities. Moving on, the latest addition to our cost optimization lever is the reserved capacity pricing for Azure Backup storage. Once you have a good understanding of your backup storage footprint, you can take advantage of this feature that can reduce your backup storage costs up to 24% based on the backup data size and the timeframe commitments you choose. You can now purchase backup reservations on Azure portal with a seamless experience, which I will be walking you over in the next few minutes. When compared to pay-as-you-go rates as of November 2022, reserved capacity pricing savings start at 12% for a 100 TB per month commitment for 1 year. It would be 16% savings for a 1 petabyte commitment for 1 year, 20% savings for 100 terabyte per month for 3 years, and the highest savings of 24% is at 1 petabyte per month commitment for 3 years. Note that reservation queues are available at region and redundancy level. The percentage savings shown in the table are based on the November 2022 pay-as-you-go rates. Azure reservations provide variable commitment options, 1 year or 3 year plans as mentioned before. After you purchase a reservation, the discount automatically applies to all the matching resources, which in our case is backup storage in Vault Standard tier. Reservations have the flexibility in payment schedules. You can pay for a reservation either upfront or choose a monthly payment option. The total cost of upfront and monthly reservations is the same, and customers don't pay any extra fee when choosing to pay monthly. Monthly payment is available for Azure reservations and not third-party products. Customers can also use the same backup reserved capacity across multiple subscriptions, which will help them maximize savings across subscriptions. Azure Backup has backup reservation queues for 3 redundancies, which is LRS, GRS, and RAGRS across all supported regions except China. Customers can choose backup queues based on their usage. For example, if you store your backups in GRS storage in East US2, select the corresponding queue in the Add to Cart page, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Azure Reservations analyzes your backup storage usage history and recommends the relevant SKU and quantity which you can purchase under the recommended tab. This helps your purchase decision making to be easy. To ensure that your savings are carried even post the expiry of reservation term, use the auto renewal feature and reduce manual intervention. To understand and dissect your reservation usage, you can check out the reservation utilization percentages in the Overview tab. You can also download CSVs and Excels and analyze the utilization reports. Now, let's see a demo of how we can purchase reserved capacity for backup storage. I'll be showing you how you can purchase Azure Backup reservations. To buy Azure Backup reservations, you have to open the Azure portal and land on the reservations tile. In case you already have reservations from other Azure services, it will be displayed on the reservations page. Now, to add Azure Backup reservations, you have to click on Add, and you will see a list of multiple Azure services which support reservations. You can click on Azure Backup, which is the latest addition to this lot, you will land on the Add to Cart page where you will see multiple reservations queues being displayed. As discussed before, you also have to select the scope. The reservation scope covers one subscription or multiple subscriptions. If you select shared scope, the reservation discount is applied to all the eligible subscription within your billing context. In case you select single, your reservation will apply to only one single subscription which you select here. The scope can be single resource group as well. Now, coming back to the backup reservations queue, each queue has the following properties: vault tier, redundancy, size, region, term, and billing frequency. A combination of these properties is one backup queue. So based on your backup storage usage, you can select the backup SKU you want to buy. Now, as mentioned, you can see the list of all regions which support Azure Backup reservations. You also can see what are the redundancies being supported, which is nothing but GRS, LRS, and RAGRS, and the size, which is 100 TB or 1 TB, and then the term, which is 1 year or 3 years. Billing frequency can be either monthly or upfront. Now, I am selecting a standard geo-redundant storage SKU of 100 TB in East US, which has a 1-year term. After selecting the SKU, we have to click on Add to Cart. Once you add to cart, you can go to the Add to Cart purchase reservations page and see the SKU purchased. Here, you can edit the billing frequency and also input the quantity as well. I'm changing the quantity to 2. And you can see that the price also changes. Once you review the cost, you can also see the discount percentages for this particular combination, which is 12%. Once you review your cost, you can click Next. Now, this is the final page before you go ahead and purchase. To purchase, click on Buy Now. One note is that only backup storage price is covered under reservations. Protected instance fee is not covered under reservations. Now, this is our total cost of purchase and the RIB purchased. You can see more details in the Overview tab of the reservations purchased. In case you want to set up auto renewal, you can go to the Renewal tab and click on Automatically Renew Reservations. Let us look at the already purchased reservations to see how we can enable the automatic renewal. This is an already purchased reservation. You can see that I can automatically renew this reservation. We can also set different properties than the current purchase reservation, which will be applied during the renewal. Customers can also see utilization reports, which will help them analyze whether they are able to completely utilize the reservation benefit or they are losing on some. Customers can also download the CSV of their utilization reports for deeper analysis. That's it from the buying experience end. Now moving on to the other cost levers. Coming back to the cost optimization levers, one of the important lever is making the right cost versus durability trade-off while configuring your backup. Vault redundancy is a key factor in deciding the quantum of cost. While customers need highest level of durability and resiliency for their backup data, they do have use cases where cost versus durability trade-off need to be carefully considered. When you start your protection with Azure Backup, you start with a vault. When you create vaults, the default is set to GRS, Geo Redundant Storage. However, For your dev test workloads, you may choose to use an LRS, locally redundant storage vault, if you do not need the same level of protection, because LRS costs almost half of GRS. Choosing the right storage redundancy types for different types of backup data can help you optimize your costs. You cannot change the redundancy once the backup data starts flowing into the vault as of today. Another new announcement is that Azure BCDR has launched ZRS, Zonally Redundant Storage Redundancy, in November 2022, which will help customers reduce costs wherever business needs lower durability than GRS but higher than LRS. It is now generally available. Also, when you enable cross-region restore, we automatically upgrade the GRS storage to RAGRS, which is disabled by default, but can be enabled anytime. So carefully consider this cost versus durability trade-off. Moving on to the next lever. Another lever to keep costs in check is to back up specific disks which have critical data. Currently, customers can use selective disk backup feature available for Azure VM backups. Selective disk backup allows you to choose backup only certain disks within your VM. This can reduce your storage footprint via two scenarios. One, when you need to protect only critical data in selected disks, or when you need to backup only OS disks. Next, we know that reducing cloud waste, which is unused resources, is top of mind for customers for multiple years. In this case, for BCDR, backing up an inactive or a deleted data source can lead to unintended costs. When original resources get deleted, Azure Backup continues to store your backup data based on the intent to hold on to your data in case of the need to recover from it. In such cases, customers can use backup reports. There is an optimized tab where you can view such inactive data sources that have not had backup in a defined period, for example, 90 days or above, and choose to revisit their backup status. You can take appropriate actions like stopping protection and deleting or retaining data of that deleted VM based on the business need. You should periodically audit inactive data source backups and take advantage of this cost-saving opportunity. Another lever is identifying the right policy configurations, which is a key input to affecting cost. Hence, they need to be used appropriately based on the business criticality of data. There is an option in the Optimize tab, which is to make sure you are using the right retention duration type. For example, instead of using daily full backups, you could choose to use weekly full and daily differential backups with log backups enabled for your databases. This helps reduce your storage footprint significantly for databases. The restore experience is not affected much by this, as Azure Backup automatically picks the right full, differential, and log backups, overlays them, and provides you the exact recovery point you need at your chosen time. Also, choose to have lower retention for your dev test workloads if your compliance and business needs allow for it. Last but not the least, here's an effective way to save costs on your long-term retention, the LTR retention data. Use the archive tier. What is this archive tier and how does it work? Archive tier, being a super low-cost tier, has high access cost when it comes to accessing data. So we move data less frequently into this tier compared to the standard tier, thereby increasing the RPO. Along similar lines, the RTO, or the recovery time objective, is also higher compared to other tiers. But this saves a lot of cost. All of this is to ensure customers can have the option to pay less for their LTR data, and hence the price is considerably cheaper. Note that backup data gets converted from incremental to full backups for Azure VM backups when data moves to the archive tier. Restores are also charged during rehydration from archive tier. We've also heard customer feedback to provide a simple and a seamless experience to move long-term retention data to archive tier and launch the intelligent tiering to Vault Archive tier. You can now enable intelligent tiering to Vault Archive by simply selecting Enable Tiering to Archive while creating a policy, or you can also modify an existing policy as shown in the screenshot. We ensure that all eligible and recommended backup data is automatically moved to Vault Archive tier for greatest cost savings. You can also use archive tiering across PowerShell and CLI too, giving you granular control. Savings for SQL and SAP HANA in VM backups is much higher as we are moving full backups directly to archive tier. This is all we have from the cost optimization end, and hope that you follow our best practices and benefit in this cost optimization journey. Thank you.